All right, let's chat to Jack before we let him go to Salisbury and ride some winners. How's things?
Very good, thank you. Yeah, it's nice to be back on the grass, just back during the season. Really, now it's been a long winter.
But was it a long winter for you? Did it feel a different winter in any way? Is that just a time of year that it's the winter, right? And it's different and it's not as vibrant and exciting, and that you just look forward to getting back into spring, summertime?
Yeah, I mean, look, a long winter I meant as in, like, weather-wise. It was pretty abysmal. It's not fun being stuck at Newcastle at 8 o'clock on a January Friday night. But I managed to get some really nice horses, nice novices. Probably the highlight would have been Tyrrhenian Sea.
The highlight was what, sorry?
Tyrrhenian Sea.
Yeah, which looks a lovely horse going forward.
Yeah, he's a real all-weather professional, but interesting to see what he does on turf this year.
When's that likely to be, do you know?
He ran in the Queen Anne trial, Ascot, the other day.
On
turf.
Wednesday.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't seen any of Ascot on Wednesday. So full disclosure there, fully immersed in Ireland. So go on. Is that looking? I mean, he'll line up there in the Queen.
He ran. Yeah, I don't know where he goes.
Okay.
Roger's plan, but no, there's lots of nice horses for this year.
Roger is obviously a great association to have. Things are looking promising there. Yeah,
no, he's been very good to me. I think this is our 12th season together. So
yeah, God. Why does it feel that I don't know? Feels newer than that. But that's
yeah.
I don't know why. So I would put it more at like half that, I guess. Maybe that's Roger's rise, or I guess the numbers that he's had certainly in the last sort of
possibly
half decade or so.
Yeah, obviously a lot of good horses have gone through there, and you know, I did actually start off my apprenticeship with Chris Wall in Newmarket, and then I started riding a bit of work for Michael Jarvis, and then obviously Roger took over. Have you always been Newmarket? No, born and bred in Epsom. Okay. Well, yeah, but career-wise? Career-wise, yeah, I mean, I started off as an amateur for about 16, 18 months, and I was just too light, believe it or not. So Dad just said, look, go apprentice. I think I was about 7 stone 7 at the time, and I had a few rides for Dad, and then I won. I don't think they have it anymore. There's an apprentice race at Glorious Goodwood. I don't think they have it anymore. It's like the last race on the last day. And I rode for Chris Bourne at a horse called Ace of Hearts, and he ended up winning, so that was the start. Forced my hand to Newmarket, yeah. How old were you when you were 7'7"? It's about 16, 17. That's... And what's your comfortable weight now? Now, I mean, if any of the lads are watching, you think I'm probably lying, but I like to sit just under 9 stone. Okay. Yeah. Which is quite a difference from 7'7". But it's comfortable, yeah. Yeah. So go back to the Epsom days. I don't know if you heard Roger talking about the fact, obviously, he was assistant to your dad, and he babysat for you, etc. All those nice stories he was telling. Oh, nice stories. Yeah, There's one story that wasn't nice. To be fair, Roger was really good to me growing up. He taught me how to ride work, and he probably didn't mention it, but I remember riding work. It was the bottom gallop. I can't remember what it was called. And I pulled my irons up really short. I mean, shorter than Frankie. And he had one of these big American whips with the feathers on the side of it, really hard one. I mean, the BHA would have a heart attack if they saw one now. And he says, put your irons down, you're riding too short. And I said, no, I'm fine. I think I was 14, 15 or something. Kept pulling them up a hole just to annoy him. And I was perched on top of this horse's back. And we've gone round the bend to join up, and I've gone to join him, and he pulled this American stick out and hopped me across the back of I had the imprint on my leg. And I this was Roger? Screamed just before the corner where Dad was stood. But since that day, I've always listened to him, really. You drop them down a little bit? Drop them down, yeah. But no, they were good days, yeah, good days. And you know, he's had a great training career since leaving Dad, and I've managed to keep an association with him. Were you always going to be a jockey? Yeah. And that was obviously growing up there, but also it worked size-wise, and it was just obvious, was it? Yeah, I mean, I was fortunate enough to have a good leg up with a dad that trained. So I used to, before school, I used to ride the horses home from the gallops. So after they've done their exercise and the gas was out of them, I used to ride them home, and then eventually I plucked up the courage and said, "Oh, I'm ready, Dad. I can do this. I can canter one." And I remember it. The horse was called Desert Sky. We nicknamed him Blue, and he was a sprinter. And he said, "You're not ready yet. You're not ready yet." And I said, "No, I'm ready, Dad. I can do this. I can do this." And he went, "Okay." And luckily, I think he owned half, and my uncle and friends owned the other half, so it wasn't a pressure ride for me. And it got to the bottom of the canter, and I went from 0 to 60 in about 2 strides.
And you weren't ready?
I went crashing through the 6 furlong start at Epsom. But I loved it, yeah. I just had a real buzz for it ever since I was a kid.
And as far as Epsom is now compared to... You obviously got fond memories of it. Or was it a different place then? 20 years ago we're talking?
To be honest, when I moved to Newmarket, I didn't really go back at all. Obviously, when Roger was training there, I would ride out for him. But I think the gallops have changed a bit. I think there's a little bit more. I mean, I thought it'd be a good place for.
I guess as a hub, though. I guess as like a. I feel like we talked of it in the last decade or so as being on the decline, to be honest, as
that's
a
fair.
training centre.
Yeah.
Now it feels like that might just be changing a little bit now. But I don't know whether that sort of makes you, given the fondness you have of growing up there, etc., whether or not that sort of saddens you, or whether you'd like to see it reinvigorated and come back as like a real training hub. But I guess it's not going to be easy in a way. Your Lambournes and your Newmarkets are obvious because of the space they have and where they're located. Epsom's perfectly located, but given the land you need for a training facility and where it is, it's going to obviously attract investment from elsewhere.
Yeah, like George Baker's now in Dad's old yard, but a big developer came in, flattened that and rebuilt. But like as you said, as a hub, you know, you're on a train 20 minutes to London. It's got the facilities there. I don't know if I haven't seen the gallops if they've been kept up well, or like growing up, but like it did sort of start declining when I was leaving there. But I mean, I was always going up to Newmarket doing transport jobs for Dad in his lorries, and I always said I wanted to move to Newmarket. So
did you want to?
I got my wish. Yeah.
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 And what's sort of day-to-day Newmarket now is riding out in the mornings and then off you go wherever you want to ride. Yeah,
busy work, especially this time of year. I think I managed to sit on 5 or 6 horses before 9 o'clock yesterday.
It is, by the way, incredible. I know a lot of people watching, and most of the people watching will have been to Newmarket and seen what it's like. But it is. I remember the first time I went there to do some filming, and you're just like, you get down the high street, which is like a normal high street, and then you've just got horses who, between the millions of pounds worth of horses crossing roads here, there. It's just an unbelievable place.
It is, and like, my kids are actually very fortunate, but even I, we'd be driving up through Warren Hill, and there's loads of people taking pictures, and, there's families and camper vans and people with camping seats watching the horses, and, my kids kind of go, what are they doing? I said, well, I don't think you quite realise it's quite a big thing,
It's not normal.
It's the only town that's run by horses.
Yeah.
Traffic literally stops for horses.
Yeah. Are the boys going to ride?
So my son does ride. My daughter's doing the show jumping. She's doing a little show jump. She's got a little dinger of a pony. He's really good. And my youngest wants to ride, but she's nearly 3, so we'll keep her away for a bit.
Either way, it sounds terrifyingly expensive. Good luck. The 1000th winner, how big was that for you?
Oh, huge. Yeah, I was glad to get it done. Numerically, I've had a lot of winners over in Germany, Italy, and France. But the UK winners is just, I've obviously got a lot of people to thank. But Steve Croft, my agent, he since joining him, he really propelled those numbers up every year.
When was that?
I think it was 2018 or 19. It was not long ago. But it just went from doing okay, but the numbers-wise, I was just thinking, how can I ride this many wins? Like,
But that must be quite nice when you're in your 30s.
oh, definitely, yeah.
Like, and not necessarily expected.
Yeah.
For suddenly to get a boost like that.
Yeah, massive boost. You know, I had a couple of injuries there that took me out for a whole year. That kind of you have to start building back up and contacts, and you know it's very quick. You get forgotten about if you're not your name's not in the paper every day.
And when you're out for that period of time, are you just not earning?
No, not earning. No.
I think that's something.
We do have insurance put in.
Okay.
We've got PRIS, the Professional Riders Insurance Scheme, but
So there's not nothing. It's nowhere near the same.
It wouldn't be what we'd be earning in the summer, yeah.
So I feel like that's a bit underappreciated. It's not something I think of. I think about you're out for a year, mentally that must be so hard. How are you going to get back physically? All the contacts you're going to lose. But also, financially, that's big.
Yeah, well, we're self-employed, so... I mean, you ask any jockey, they try and get back quicker than they should be or are advised to, but... yeah, I mean, it'd be nice to... If we were off, to be looked after. But
it's not. It's the same as with me. So if you're essentially freelance and you're self-employed. Yeah. But I guess with a sportsman, it's not something sportsman or woman. You're not necessarily thinking about that side, I think, and what that might mean for you.
No, I mean I'm a bit of a nightmare, probably just being competitive, but I try and get back as quick as I can, just for the pure fact. There might be a horse running in 2 weeks' time and they've told me to take 3 weeks off. But I really want to ride that horse and I don't want anyone else to ride it.
Yeah, of course, you want to protect yourself.
Yeah, like I remember I had a fall at Newmarket back end a couple of years ago, and I landed straight in my ankle. My ankle blew out. I couldn't walk on it and it was really sore, and I ended up putting it in the horse spa twice a day and then putting it in ice, just because at the end of the week I had a Group 1 ride in Germany. And I didn't want anyone else to get on it because they had a good chance. So I ended up going to Germany with an ice boot basically on, just so I could ride it. And then I had to take Monday and Tuesday off. It was too sore.
But you rode the horse in
Rode the horse,
Germany, because you want to get there.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's that. Have you ever had an injury or a fall that has made you think twice, or made you go, "Whoa, this is"? Hang on a sec. But I suppose that's just not your mindset.
Not really, no.
Mindset, is it?
I think if you thought that, you wouldn't go out and sit on a horse at 40 miles an hour.
Mm. What's been the winner you remember most?
There's been a few, really. I mean, I remember Premier Loco, my first ever group winner for Chris Wall. Yeah.
George Baker rode that a bit as well.
Well, he was banned that day, and Bob and Jane rode the horse.
He said that he's always available, but he wasn't that.
No, he was banned. He was banned because I remember it because it was a prep run for the Ascot Mile.
Yeah.
And the boss said to me, he said, just float him out the back, let him find his feet, and just let him come home. You don't have to pick your stick up on him. Just want him to have a nice run, blow the cobwebs away. And I spoke to George in the morning because he was a bit of a monkey trying to get on him. So I managed just to clamber on top of him, got down to start, and all the lads are there. I think Michael Hills was showing my age there. Michael Hills was riding. He was riding Red Jazz in the race. And he said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Oh, I'm just going to take my time, guys, And I took my time, but they went pretty hard up front. And I arrived at the two-pole on the bridle, thinking, shall I? So I gave him a squeeze. Anyway, he just took off down the dip, and Michael Hills was on Red Jazz. He was screaming, "Go on, Jack!" And it was my first group winner over here, so I'd always remember that.
Yeah, that's massive. That must be. Do you discuss that at the start? Will that quite often happen? What are you doing on yours? What are you doing on yours?
Yeah, I mean...
Do you bluff about it?
Yeah, there's a lot of lads that do.
Do you?
I can't tell you.
Of course not.
Yeah, I mean, look, you get a basic understanding if you've read the race and gone through it, but some owners go in the paddock and change it up last minute. So
today, how many?
Just ended up with one now. Got a non-runner down there. Pretty sure the ground's going to be
pretty rapid,
quick enough. Yeah.
Chance?
He's got a nice chance. He won twice on the all-weather. He's got a lot of speed. He's a half brother to Sakir,
Oh yeah.
So he's got natural speed. He's actually been working quite nicely. So it's his first go on turf.
Okay. I know you want to stay in for the Punchestown review, but we're going to have to let you go. Jack, thanks so much.
Brilliant, thank you.